Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. The tension inside Genoa City felt different that morning, thicker, heavier, like a storm rolling in over the Newman ranch. Nothing was calm, nothing was simple, and at the center of it all stood Kane Ashby. Kane Ashby stared out the window of Chancellor Winters, his jaw tight, his thoughts racing. Lily and the twins were gone. Officially, no one would say they were in danger. Unofficially, he didn't trust it for a second. Victor Newman had made his move. Victor Newman was refusing to release Lily Winters and the twins back into Kane's orbit. It wasn't an arrest, it wasn't a kidnapping, it was something far more dangerous: control. Kane knew Victor, he knew how the Newman patriarch operated. Victor never made a move without purpose, and if Lily and the twins were being held close, it meant Victor was protecting something or punishing someone. But Kane didn't have the luxury of guessing. Across town, PHYLLIS Summers was reveling in power. PHYLLIS had clawed her way back into the Newman Empire's orbit once again, manipulating alliances and exploiting fractures between Victor and his children. She believed she had the upper hand. She believed she was untouchable. Kane intended to prove her wrongs. He couldn't go head-to-head with Victor, not directly, but he could dismantle PHYLLIS' grip. If he wrestled the Newman Empire away from her influence and placed it firmly back under Victor's authority, Victor might soften, might negotiate. It was risky, it was bold. And it required backups. That was how Kane found himself walking into Crimson Lights, locking eyes with a man who didn't trust him. Daniel Romalotti Jr. didn't smile when Kane approached. "You've got nerve," Daniel said flatly. Kane didn't argue. "I don't expect you to like me." Daniel's jaw tightened. He blamed Kane for this mess. He believed Kane's rivalry with PHYLLIS had pushed her further down a dark road. Maybe he wasn't entirely wrong. But this wasn't about grudges. "It's about Lily," Kane said quietly. That got Daniel's attention. Kane laid it out carefully, Victor refusing to release Lily, the twins caught in the middle, PHYLLIS manipulating corporate power plays that escalated the feud. "If I take PHYLLIS out of the equation," Kane continued, "Victor wins. And when Victor wins, he stops fighting. That's when Lily comes home." Daniel didn't respond immediately. He thought about Matty, about Charlie, about the way Lily always put her children first. "You can't know they're safe," Kane pressed. Daniel's silence cracked slightly. "You want me to help you take down my mother?" Daniel asked. "I want you to help me save Lily." That was the difference. Daniel hated the idea of aligning with Kane, but he loved Lily, he cared about the twins, and he knew PHYLLIS had gone too far. "Temporary alliance," Daniel finally said, "for Lily." Kane nodded once, that was all he needed. Meanwhile, at Newman Enterprises, Victoria Newman delivered a different kind of ultimatum. Billy Abbott stood in her office, anger simmering just beneath the surface. "You're sending Johnny and Katie back to boarding school," Billy demanded. Victoria's expression was calm, almost clinical. "Yes. This is about me," Billy shot back. "You want to punish me." Victoria exhaled slowly. "This is about protecting our children." Billy laughed bitterly. "From what? From their family." "From chaos," Victoria corrected sharply. "From your constant feud with my father, from corporate wars, from being caught in the middle." Billy stepped closer. "You think shipping them off fixes that?" "It removes them from it," Victoria replied. There it was, the harsh truth. Victoria wasn't budging. In her mind, Billy had fueled the feud with Victor, he had poked the Newman bear repeatedly, and now the fallout was everywhere. "This is the only thing I can control," Victoria said quietly. Billy realized then he wasn't winning this fight. And across town, another dangerous conversation was unfolding. Claire Newman met Holden Novak with calculated curiosity. Claire wanted answers about Lowe's Angels, about Audra, about the art dealer scandal that everyone whispered about but no one fully explained. She didn't trust rumors. She wanted leverage. "I'll give you something," Claire said carefully, "information." Holden's eyes narrowed. "About?" "My grandfather," Claire replied, "and what he's really doing." If Victor was behind Lily and the twins' disappearance, Claire intended to find out, and if she uncovered something useful, she'd pass it to Holden. Holden could pass it to Kane. In exchange, I want the full story, Claire said. You, Audra the art dealer, all of it. Holden hesitated. Audra Charles was a sensitive topic, Los Angeles was messy, dangerous, and exposing it could create enemies. You're asking for a lot, Holden warned. Claire smiled faintly, so am I. The chessboard was filling fast. And no one realized how close the explosion truly was. Part 2. The alliance between Kane and Daniel moved quickly. They began dissecting PHYLLIS, corporate maneuvers, tracing shell negotiations, uncovering silent board shifts, identifying pressure points within Newman Enterprises. PHYLLIS sensed something shifting. She stormed into her office, phone pressed to her ear, find out who's poking around my numbers. But by the time she learned Daniel was involved, it was too late. Daniel, she whispered, stunned. The betrayal strung. Meanwhile, Victor watched from a distance. He had never truly trusted PHYLLIS' influence. She was useful, temporary, but never permanent. If Kane managed to destabilize her control, Victor would step in. And Victor always preferred ruling over chaos. At the ranch, Lily remained unaware of the full scope of maneuvering happening on her behalf. She wasn't imprisoned, not exactly, but she was contained. Victor believed he was protecting her. Kane believed he was fighting for her. Daniel believed he was saving her. The irony was suffocating. Back in the city, Victoria's decision rippled outward. Billy watched as arrangements for Johnny and Katie's departure were finalized. He hated it, but he also understood something painful. Victoria wasn't entirely wrong. He had been reckless. Still, it didn't stop the ache. And Claire's gamble with Holden intensified. After hours of tension, Holden finally spoke. Los Angeles wasn't just business, he admitted. It was ambition, greed, and betrayal. He described Audra's dealings with the art dealer, the secrets exchanged, the money hidden, the leverage gathered. Claire absorbed every detail. And you, she asked softly, what did you do? Holden met her eyes. I survived. It wasn't a full confession, but it was enough. Now Claire had something real. And when she later overheard whispers about Victor's private security movements, about special accommodations at a remote property, she realized something crucial. Victor wasn't hiding Lily out of cruelty. He was shielding her from something bigger. But from what? Kane and Daniel made their final move 2 days later. A coordinated strike, corporate pressure, board manipulation, exposing PHYLLIS' vulnerabilities. PHYLLIS fought back fiercely, but the foundation beneath her was cracking. When Victor finally stepped in publicly, it was decisive. "It's enough," he declared. PHYLLIS' influence collapsed almost instantly. Kane watched carefully. Victor didn't thank him. But Victor did make a call. And hours later, Lily was informed she could return home. Not because Kane demanded it. Not because Daniel intervened. But because Victor had decided the situation no longer required containment. Kane exhaled for the first time in days when he saw Lily step back into Genoa City. Relief flooded him. Daniel watched quietly, knowing their alliance had worked, even if the victory felt complicated. Victoria remained firm about the children. Billy remained conflicted. Claire prepared to dig deeper into Victor's motives. Holden remained wary of how much he had revealed. And PHYLLIS. PHYLLIS was furious. Because losing power was one thing. But being outmaneuvered by her own sons, that was unforgivable. As the dust settled, alliances shifted, trust fractured, and new suspicions took root. Because in Genoa City, no victory stays clean for long. And the war between loyalty, love, and power was far from over.